It's gonna be alright.
Welcome to another episode of Johnversations. I'm John Graham, and I am here at the National Religious Broadcasters Association convention, in 2023 at Orlando. And I am so blessed to be joined by Mary Boudin. Boudin, did I say that right, Mary?
Yeah.
Okay. And Jamie Logan, who is also here with us. And we're talking about something I have absolutely no context to because I don't know if you can tell from my physique, but I am not a dancer. However,
I wouldn't know that.
you guys have a history of dance, but a special calling, a ministry that God's put on your heart to really sound the trumpet about the hypersexualization of children in the dance world. So help me understand. There's a book, there's an effort, a website, all these kinds of things. Tell me a little bit about that first, and then let's get into the issue.
Well, there's been a cultural shift from healthy educational children's dance to harmful hypersexualized children's dance in adult costumes, choreography, and music. And your listeners should know that I love dance.
Mm-hmm.
I have a BA and MA in dance. Jamie has a strong background in dance. In fact, she's featured on one of our interview trailers, and you'll know about that in just a few minutes,
Sure.
I think. But we just want to protect children from the wrong influences, and life has a lot of choices, and many, many caring adults don't know about the differences between healthy and harmful dance.
Yeah. So help me understand a little bit about how we moved from the educational and the artistic to the, I don't even know the right adjective, but where we are now with such lewdness in the industry. You know, maybe it would be helpful just to hear from Jamie and kind of hear her story about what you experienced. If you wouldn't mind just handing the mic to Jamie.
Sure. So
tell me your story. How did this impact you?
Yeah, so when I was young, when I was in high school, I was in a very wonderful dance program in my high school. It was healthy. We learned all different styles. We used healthy music. Everything was vetted through our choreographer and our teacher. By the time I got to community college, I had friends that surrounded me that it was a whole different world for me, actually. The dance world was still healthy. We were still learning healthy dances, and everything was age appropriate. But on the weekends, our friends were going out to clubs, and we were dancing in different ways. And that kind of started crossing over into what we would bring to the table when it came to contribution to the choreography work at our school.
Yeah.
But soon I joined a dance company that focused on beautiful contemporary and jazz work, but at the same time they did burlesque and a lot of risque, just not age-appropriate material. And the age groups in our classes were not based on age, but on merit and on your skill level. So we had students everywhere from 22 years old down to age 10 or 11.
Wow.
So we had girls learning the same burlesque dance pieces no matter what their age was. Granted, I was lucky enough to have joined that around 20 or 21 years old.
Right.
But it still deeply affected me.
Yeah.
And so over the span of several years, I developed severe anxiety. I had dealt with eating disorders shortly after that. And I think what I call it is the comparison game.
Right.
When you are so deeply entrenched in what other people think and what you look like or how you come off compared to other people, that your entire being becomes dictated by your sexual appeal. And whether or not you find yourself valuable is fully based on how someone could value you sexually.
Yeah.
And that was the most harmful part. And it's fascinating how the crossover is so smooth, because if what the culture is feeding you is the same as what you're learning in a dance class, it becomes normalized.
Right.
And there's no boundary to how far that can go.
Yeah. Wow. So now Mary, in Jamie's case, she didn't really get exposed to this till college, but it's happening, I mean, everywhere and younger and younger and younger.
That's right.
Tell me, I guess, raise the awareness for our listeners and our viewers. What are we facing today? What's happening?
Well, researcher Gail Dines calls it a pornified culture,
Wow.
and researcher Philip Adams calls it corporate pedophilia. And it really comes from three words that we're all experiencing: the internet, the media, and the pornography industry. So most people don't think of dance as connected to those issues, but they really aren't seeing things in the way they should. They're either too busy or it's already been so normalized that they accept it. And so the more we do that, the younger it goes. And I've seen 2 and 3 year old children inappropriately exposed to adult sexuality, and all the brain research, along with the psychological research, but we'll go back to brain research, shows that this has extremely harmful outcomes for children.
So I'm assuming in your work and your ministry that you've seen examples like Jamie being one, but some kids that are even way younger that have really had some problems come up.
Yeah, anytime a little person is exposed to adult issues that they're really not ready for, their brain has trouble processing it. The words I would use was frontal cortex, which is the thinking brain, and helpful for a child to learn self-control, which is pretty important, versus the basal ganglia, which is the feeling brain, which is impulse connected. And so a child begins to operate with impulse instead of self-control. And there's something else in the brain research called mirror neurons. We copy what we see. So if we see healthy patterns of eating, we copy healthy patterns of eating. If we see harmful patterns of eating, we copy, when we're little people, harmful patterns of eating. Same thing is true in dance. If we see healthy patterns of dancing, which have wonderful outcomes from creativity, high academic achievement, risk-taking, confidence, all kinds of things, we copy that and it affects us. But if we are exposed to harmful dance, I could spend a few hours here telling you about the harmful psychological effects of something that's not age appropriate for children. You wouldn't tell a 6-year-old to drive to the market and get some milk and return because they're 6. They can't do that. But they will be able to do that at a later age. So that's really a good metaphor, example, comparison to what we're exposing our children to, and they're not ready for it. We're making them into mini adults, and unfortunately, the even deeper truth is people are making money off kids and exposing them to these issues.
And not just psychological or emotional, but there's spiritual implications
Absolutely.
as well.
Who's the author of the integration of mind, body, and spirit? It's God through Jesus, who had the perfect integration of mind, body, and spirit. And to all these listeners out there, all of us dance. It's what kind of choreography? We all do locomotor and non-locomotor movement. That's the basis, the technical base of any art form in dance. So think about it. Tap, ballet, jazz, hip-hop, square dance, it's all locomotor, non-locomotor movement. And everybody does that every day. When you wake up, you go to the kitchen, get a cup of coffee. Locomotor movement. So dance impacts all of us.
So Jamie, and we kind of left your story stop at the bad part, but I hope there's a good part, and you're walking your way out of that and the way that it impacted you. Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. One pivotal part of my life was when I met Jesus in my mid-20s. And that was kind of I guess you would say, the tipping point of when I realized that what I was doing, I think what was worded to me publicly was, "You're causing men to stumble," which really put it on me, right? That's my responsibility to bear. But it was when Jesus led me to recognize that I am worth more than how other people may value me. The hypersexualized dance that I got involved in led me to go-go dancing, and it pushed me to the edge of potential commercial sexual exploitation.
Wow.
And I there was a conviction in my heart that he gave me that showed me you are worth more than this, and your value is not determined by your sexual appeal. And these people do not love you, but I do. And so that radically changed the way that I viewed how I dance. And now I'm lucky enough. Right now I have an injury, so I'm recovering from that first. But I plan to get back into dance class. And recently, before I had my injury, I was dancing for worship.
Oh, wonderful.
So all praise to the Lord.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, okay, so Mary, tell me a little bit about what people can do. What are you encouraging folks to? I mean, obviously there's awareness, but beyond that, how can folks connect with your ministry and move forward in trying to push some of this back?
Well, the first thing they can do is identify the problem, which we have done in this interview. And many people know that there's a problem, but they just don't know what to do about it.
Yeah.
And so once they know about it, they need to make a choice between healthy and harmful dance for the children they love.
Yeah.
And then we need to share this information on danceawareness.com with friends and family. I always say, because this is a grassroots organization, we're not some big corporate entity. We can all share the materials at danceawareness.com with 4 to 6 people in our relational world. That can be family, friends, church, school, you name it. But everybody knows 4 to 6 people, so there's an action point right there. Now, on a deeper level, you can go to danceawareness.com, and we have all kinds of resources that will help you. Most people who know there's a problem feel totally inept about how they can connect and figure out how to explain this to other people. It's a complex subject, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so we have the resources with trailers. We have a dance newsletter, only comes 3 times a year, and Jamie has written for it. We're releasing an issue the end of this month that she's written a wonderful article for. But we have many people who are contributing to that dance newsletter, experts in the field and dance educators like me who know we need to stop this pattern. We have a wonderful healthy dance initiative called She Loves to Move with a $5,000 prize for healthy dance choreography.
Wow.
Da, 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 da.
There you go.
And that ends in June of this year, June 30, but there's still time. So all the information about She Loves to Move is on the website. And you can like us on Facebook. We have a downloadable free ebook. It's only 15 pages, folks. What's the new trend in children's dance? How to pick a healthy dance studio. How to avoid a harmful dance studio.
Right. Yeah.
And I should share with your viewers that healthy dance and harmful dance seem sometimes overwhelming. Well, what is it? And so I have a simple definition that I love to share.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, in healthy educational dance, children look like children in age-appropriate costumes, choreography, and music, usually accompanied by a great sense of joy. In harmful, hypersexualized dance, children look like adults. In adult costumes, choreography, and music, usually accompanied by adult hairstyles and makeup. So there you have it, folks. You have a clear way.
There's your litmus test.
Yeah. I mean, if a child looks like a child, you're in pretty good waters there, so to speak. And if they look like an adult and you kind of think, ooh, you know.
And I think we've all kind of had those moments where we see something on TV, like, one of these Discovery Channel shows that has the little kids doing the dance or whatever, and you go, something not right about that.
Well, it's more than not right. It hurts their brain, as I mentioned. It hurts their psychological development, and it turns them into a thing, an object for somebody to make money off of. Right.
Well, your ministry is so vital and so important, and it's such an you understand this. I expect it's not something a lot of people think about,
Absolutely.
And so it's
That's
so
why
important.
we're here.
That's right. Yeah. It's not on the radar. You don't hear the stories on the radio about this, but obviously it's a big issue, and we've been lulled to sleep, and we need to wake up and stand up for our kids. So thank you so much, Mary. And of course, Jamie, thank you for sharing your story. And it's danceawareness.com.
Correct.
All right, Dance Awareness, all the resources available there. You've probably got a kid that you know in your church that has just started dance classes. Get this information to their parents. Make sure that they know what's appropriate and what's inappropriate, and stand up for that. Until next time, this is John Graham, and I just want to remind you, it's going to be all right.